you be worried about this trend of scamming each other in relationship?
Absolutely, yes. I believe we need to worry about this scamming because deception in any sort of relationship, it's draining. And I would base my argument on the perspective of Lost Boys, sorry, because I believe as Wakoi Wake Bentine, we have experience on what has been done to the Lost Boys. So if you allow yourself to be put in that situation, then it's your problem. So I'm concerned for the Lost Boys because Lost Boys are quite to be right. They are in their 50s, majority of them, and 40s, and most of them have not gone to school and are working in labor jobs, like manual jobs that in some years, maybe in 10 or 5 years, they will not be in position to do that just because their physical physics will not allow it by that time. And uh, they need to think about the long-term goal of their families. If you are allow yourself to being scam and just giving, and you have not empowered your woman. If you can no longer work, who is going to take care of that family? So they need to be concerned or worried about that. School fee can be medical care can be and sort of that. So they need to sit down and see what are their long-term goals and what they want to achieve for their families. When it comes to their immediate family members, I believe they need to just filter the needs in terms of or the grievances of their families in terms of the emergencies. Take reagent begin to marry, they need to get to the ground and be held them accountable. Now, if someone is sick, then they need to get down with doctors. It's if it's school fee, they need to get down with the school faculties and know the exact amount that they have to send. And really, it's a belief of I'm concerned about them. And if there's a lost boys that is going to watch this in the end of the day, please just remember that your family is at stake in 5 years to come or 10 years. You guys are getting old with nothing substance to show and nothing to leave. For the lost boys that are still dating or in courtship with the girls in back home, I believe you are not in the position to empower these women or to be sending them money for upkeep or whatsoever. So just don't do it. If their families cannot do it, why do you have to do it? So just be worried about yourself. I'm really concerned for us. I'm not going to talk because we have seen what has been done to the lost boys and the lost boys. So if we allow to be scammed or being treated the way the lost boys have been, then it's up to you. Maybe a deed will tackle that.
It's really interesting. As you speak about that, something just comes to my mind about love. And at this point, I'm thinking about romantic relationships. There's something that we do not deal with most of the time. Most of the times in our communities is true. Like when I'm talking about like true love, is when you authentically wants to be with someone, not because of what they have, but because of who they are. That has gotten lost, or if it ever existed. I'm just talking about from from the time when we started seeing Lost Boys, and to just speak from the Lost Boys, when we started seeing Lost Boys getting married in Kakuma and the excitement in the community. Then we were little, so we could hear our aunts and our mothers and even the marriages, the conversations that were coming. It had nothing to do with these people that are getting married to each other. It had everything to do with other people. You know, the girl would be told, get married. Papa and one Kwan, you guys will put captions to this. Papa and one Kwan, but me the make sure you caption this.
So
People will understand
Valerby.
that. Yeah, me the Kwan, and kunya lam. Even if you do not want, you feel like you are literally evil by refusing, Kumita well you would like they literally be now the boys start feeling this is one of the things I had to I'm glad I did not go through that. But I was because I could see things happening to those girls, and I'm like, if I had a brother as entitled as those, I will break their head, lightly speaking, because
Absolutely.
you yeah, because you start hearing your little brother or even your older brother, and now we are here suffering because say you have refused to get married to some lost boys. I'm like, you go and work hard. Stop waiting for me to rescue your to rescue you from your miserable life. We can't blame our parents because if South Sudan hadn't been in war, we could be having very difficult talks with our parents, telling them, you guys, if I'm suffering and we are suffering, it's because you guys didn't work hard. But we give them some room to breathe because there was so much turmoil. But for siblings, for someone to put like Liam Daniel to carry and they refuse to work hard, that's not going to happen. And the problem is with all that, so less I digress, is it literally eliminates the chance to look for someone that you would want. That's on the side of the girl. The guys, especially guys that came here, I don't know what happened to their hearts and their minds, because sometimes not sometimes, when you get into a better position, you would think you would work through your difficulties and help others, yes, but try to see what can be the best thing for you. But you see them going back into situations where they actually end up being scammed. you know they believe that they are getting a show back, but the truth is marriage, unless you as an individual that is looking for marriage drives the agenda, when you let it be driven by other people, it stops being love. It becomes a commercial product. Okay, and it will be given to the highest bidder, or whoever has the best potential. That's what started happening to Lost Boys, you know and then weirdly among themselves they started competing and what have you. I don't know, like we lost touch with
Do you feel like
what
also Lost Boys are scare people too? Is it a both way scary? Because now you're ending. So the families were pressuring their daughters to get married to Lost Boy to pull their families out of poverty. But also Lost Boy were competing to get the attention of, so they would even give money to anyone and everybody if the name of the girl is mentioned, so that they
yeah.
also increase their competitive advantage. So thank you for bringing it.
To add something on that, it then again goes back to empowerment, because if we empowered the girls, right, and in this situation of the Lost Boys, right, instead of just putting the family responsibilities as a did or said, right, like by body in chorajatia in the by if we get to, let's say, Panawin Beach, if a father, because nowadays there are so many resources where people can get empowered for free. Anong refugee camp, the Ben Koikelo school, the Ben in Yirkula school. By in South Sudan right now, even in the villages, anong school or businesses, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be money. When you're empowered, I believe they will this situation or this case of lost boys or anyone abroad being scammed will just be reduced by a great percentage, because in Europe they will be just doing them like sorry
Yeah, they'll be good.
because in UK they would be catering for themselves, for example, the three of us here right now, we are not in that vulnerable situation whereby we have to look for winning a Bawa week or winning a bianoya itango kumayur or winning a di bianoya itango
iPhone, I just
iPhone Haiwa. We are not in that in that situation. You know, Ranaben Accord, and his women, we know that we want good things. And if so, it goes back to our families too. If Nanong families that are going to listen to this, please disempower your daughters, because Kakalos boys I've been in that soon, and most of the time it's not even love. It's a transaction. It's the girls, they give up all they give up because they're receiving money, and in the end it ends up in disaster. And that's why most of the time when you look at the marriages of the lost boys, most of them are not working right now. Like most of them have ended in divorce because their relationships were not built uh, from place of love. It was built from place of transaction. So it all goes back to empower the women, empower the girls, and this phenomena of scamming will be reduced by some percentage. I know there are not going to scam, but I'm just basing my argument, as I said before, on the phenomena of lost boys.
what is it?
And currently,
So
sorry?
away from like empowerment, what is integrity? Like the dinka in people,
Right.
what is it? That pride that you don't want to, to scam, to beg, to. I feel like our culture was built on place of pride. Well, is that empty pride that you spoke about? Please, I'm getting confused here.
Our culture, if you look through it very carefully, you will see that there are elements of true integrity. I grew up among my uncles, most of them that have died at this point. Sadly, I miss them because of what I saw as integrity with them, right? I mean, we could go into the conversation about polygamy, but that was their belief. But you could see integrity in them.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot also refuse that our culture, because human beings, we have two sides where we have pride, good pride, not just being boastful. Because pride is good. It's being proud of your work. Yani doing your own things. Like you are proud of yourself. I'm proud of myself. I do my own things, and I want somebody that is also doing their own things, that is proud of themselves. That is good pride. But there's an element also in our culture. We do not call things for what they are. We try to hide things out, like we try to hide things, like people do some shameful things, but we don't want to talk about it. Laziness, for example, you will find that somebody is being lazy, but they are covered up. In families, is part of scamming too. There's this scamming that I had written.
Oh,
You as a girl,
okay.
And we call that pride. We call that pride. There is actually a big scam that happens, especially in marriages, whereby you as a girl, you get approached by some useless son of somebody, and the family comes. You start being called by the entire family, the aunties, the mother, the father, and whatever. They start calling you, whatever, what have you, and they talk to you big game on behalf of their son. And you notice this is just covering up for everything that is happening, and then you get there later and you're like, oh shoot, this was a big problem. Integrity, and to talk about integrity, integrity in the way I take it and how it is actually is doing what is right no matter what the circumstances. No matter what the circumstances, or no matter the consequence, even if the consequence is going to be unfavorable to you, you try to take that action. In our community, there are people that do that, but there are very few. Not of a community only. I think it's because of survival, right? People have come up with very big techniques to cover up things that are not that wouldn't be considered actions of integrity, but they do them in a way. Yani, you see the way they're being done. You think, I'm thinking about the marriages that are happening today between, especially in Australia. You look at many things and you're like, there are some that look good. There's a point where things are good and then they start taking a different direction. Where a girl, let's say from Australia, loved someone in East Africa, and it was authentically something, and then now scam that jumping into that. But yeah, they call them visible boys, yeah. But you see but you see the way they have been covered. That is the highest level of scam. Scam that cannot be detected very quickly. But that is something that is it lacks integrity at the base of it. And the truth is, the price to be paid for that is discomfort. Sometimes discomfort just remains in the heart. You truly know that this is not right. You cannot say it out, because when you say it out, you are alone. Sometimes the entire world, or let's say everybody around you, knows the truth, and you know the truth too, but we cannot talk about it.
The elephant in the room.
We cannot talk about it, so it becomes the elephant. It becomes the elephant in the room, but we ignore it. Again, that goes to speak about things that we start from a small point and we run them out until when they are such a big elephant the white elephant at this point, we know the elephant is inside, but we do not see it. Not because we do not see it, we ignore to see it. So integrity is a choice, and it is practiced, by the way, and it is sometimes painful, because it means you could get away with so many things, but you choose not to. So we were brought up thinking that men would not do certain things because they hold themselves to the highest standard. Today we are struggling to see that there are people that are still doing that, and you respect them. We respect them. We see them, but we see men that have given up. Our generation of guys who we grew up with, we went to school with, and we see them, they have given up. They are trying to scrape around they eat the best or the easiest way they can get out of whatever situations they are in. And such a person scams you into marriage or into whatever relationship, there's no happiness. I don't know if happiness is something that is important to people, but there's no peace of mind. But again, what I'm talking about privileges of people who have actually paid the price. Peace of mind and happiness are privileges of people who have accepted to pay the price to work. But for people who have not paid the price, they just want to get out of not having food on their table or somewhere to sleep. These things you call pride, integrity, I don't know, happiness, they will chew that bone when they get there. So I think it's a price to be paid.
Thank you. And I just want to put a point across about the Lost Boys. Lost Boys, these are the people I hold so highly, especially the service they have done to our community at their own expense is huge. And as actually I mentioned earlier, I just want to bring back and reiterate, these are the people who have sacrificed their lives to pull a lot of families out of poverty. They've educated children, they've sponsored women to North America, they've encouraged people. Some are actually are stars internationally, and we recognize them. But as time goes, the results of the sacrifice is showing, and especially family members, romantic partners have actually been not paying attention to their plights. And so we want to highlight that in our discussion, and it's from the place of good heart that we are saying this thing. And I just want to give the opportunity back to you ladies to say last word, like there's no cure to scamming a relationship. People scam your time, as Liz mentioned. People scam your energy. Like someone come with bad vibe and just spoil your day. Like people scam you financially. They scam even your name. They gossip. That is also scamming. It's dishonesty. Like people using different ways. So I just want to just give floor to you, Achia, to say your last word. Like your reflection on this discussion, and also Liz will take over. It's been very exciting.
Well, it's a very exciting topic, and I'm really grateful that we have touched most of the points. But for us who are here, or any working class, because any working class, I'm just going to still stick with the financial aspect of scamming. So the working class, either you are in Juba, you are here, or you are at Lost Boy, you just need to sit down and plan and see what your long-term goal is. Filter the needs or the grievances that are presented to you by the loved ones. See which one needs your attention at that point. Now you need to just let it go. Don't do it. Terminum. Now you can medical issues, then you can do it. And in some years to come, you will look back and regret that you did not cater much of your time and put your finances in place. Because I believe the end goal of most of us, either it's a family goal or you are still planning to have a family, it's for your family to live a living standard that is of today world class. Because we are here, you don't want your family to be there. We barely leave quite Rocky King eat and stuff like that. The reason why we work so hard is for our families to have all that we never had. So look into that. For lost boys and their wives, for people that have married, you cannot tell them what to do. They know how, maybe they know how they want their families to go, but just think about your children. Think about your children in the next 10 years when you are no longer working or I would say just empower your women, because if you cannot do what you are doing right now, your woman will take place and take charge. And most of them are bored, But if you are East Africa and she's doing nothing, you are not, you just trying to keep her as a housewife and doing nothing. It can bring boredom, and it attracts all sorts of evils, and most of the time the women get blamed. But if you are idle, really idle mind attracts what? Idle mind attracts evil, right? So give them something to do, and it might be too late for you guys here to go back to school or do something, but I would recommend on doing something, maybe certifications or whatever, that will make you work in a comfortable place whereby you don't have to strain your body, because your health, as you get older, your health is at stake. Even as right now, when you wake up in the morning, you have knees took everywhere, and I can imagine what you guys go through. For our families back home,
Louder.
we will take a pour. Stop scamming us in the name of it all by guilt tripping us and creating scenarios. We can read through the lines, by the way. It's just that most of the time you just have that giving heart. You want to give, but still we read through the lines. Do not do it. Give us genuine reasons for us to be able to help you. And if you guys cannot give us time to help ourselves, then walk even at the end of the day, what got to be, And for the girls, I know among a few girls that are empowered, but still they want to chill with the both kadang no, you know, jakaruti ki jakabe paliwe. Lolo iroki ni nyan mathon do something for you. By the way, if you want someone to respect you, don't take what does not belong to you. If you keep on asking them for everything, literally, we can call bala concept and call bala panaki and call bala kene. It will reaches a point whereby it's a bidol, they will just like, in you again, I will la la lumke, just try to, deal on yourself and for anyone that really want to empower the woman in Africa, especially the lost boys, get to know if they really want to be empowered as much as you want. Do not just take the words for the words. Actions speak louder than words. Get to know, give yourself time to know these women. Take time, maybe 3 years when you are courting someone. Go make several trips to Africa in that 3 years, in those 3 years, like maybe 2 trips or 3 trips. Get away with them and get to know them before you marry them, instead of just rushing into this relationship, because that whereby it ends in scamming in the end of the day. Because we could yin kunyana you look pop the gala wago kanyen kujibu kuru kanyen. But kon kudu kon kajani bak konjali all these that's what I would say. I'm not going to talk about us because tumeenda shule, so tumeenda shule, tumekuwa exposed to a lot of things. Unaona kama bado unajiachilia bi low scam and stuff like that, then it's up to you.
Good. So yeah, we need to verify. If someone message you on Messenger, you verify if they are real people.
Exactly.
Before sending. Lisa, what are your closing remarks?
I really like the way Chill has summarized so many things. Mine is going to be about the emotional part of things, and especially we've talked so much about the family side of things, but I'm feeling myself getting drawn to the romantic side of things, and I'm a true believer in marriage for grown people, not for children. Okay, so if we can focus, especially as ladies or as young girls, if we can focus on our personal development when you are younger, when you are a teenager, when you are in your early 20s, focus on how to make yourself stronger. The truth is, we are human beings, okay? Even when you are with your family, you grow to become an adult, you will start seeing side of your family that you do not see while you were younger. You will actually think they hate you. But it's because when people grow, you are expected to be a bit more independent. How much more than of somebody that you got to love while you are not ready to love? Psychologically, a human being grows, their brain stops developing or matures. So the right way to say is matures at 25. Let's just wait for 25 until when you're 25 and make decisions from there, because the stories that come from marriages that happen from there, the stories, the things people endure are horrifying. They are hard. We do not blame those. We do not blame anyone. Those who were scammed into it by other people, and those who actually thought. For us, we got into relationship with at that time. You thought you were in love, and then you get to 25, and you're like, "Shoot, was I drunk all along?" And it's after your brain is fully developed that you can make proper decisions for yourself. The other part is we can actually get to that brain maturity but still make wrong decisions, because this is how other people will argue. But there is this decisions is not making decisions is not just the rational part of things. There is the emotional part of things. That things we go through while we're younger, we do not choose. We don't take time to work through them. Then that mental fog, it's like having a mental fog, like having some smoke covering your clarity, your way of making decisions, and that will include choice of a spouse. You can be, if we haven't paid attention to that, we haven't developed ourselves, because developing ourselves is not just going to school and passing. Going to school to ensure that your pain points have been addressed, including your mental health and what have you, to allow you that clarity to then make a decision, let's say for a spouse. The hardest thing I realize now is to choose a sane spouse, a spouse that is good for you, to then achieve whatever you wanted to achieve out of a relationship, or let's say a marriage relationship, with that person that is healthy for you. The last part that I think we always take for granted is, in all this hardship, we do school, we are smart people, and I'm talking about everybody, not just women. We are smart people, what have you. But if we forget the value of God, like the God you know in your life as a person, forget about the God you go and talk about in church and you dance in the only time. There is that God between you in your bathroom, between you and you. If you do not bring this person along your journey, to be humble and to not allow arrogance, because some of us, self-righteousness, arrogance, and you make terrible decisions from that drunkenness, like being drunk with yourself. So when I talk about self-development, I'm almost helpless sometimes to, if I could write it into people's heads, the lessons that I have learned, that God is your friend, and it's not somebody your father or your mother or people that love you bring into your life. It's a personal relationship. That taking time to understand you, to develop you, that the pains that you went through personally in your life, in your family, you need to work through them to then allow you the clarity to make decisions that are very important, such as spousal choices, the person to date, the person to get married to. We need those. We need those. So we do need to develop ourselves. So when we're talking about personal development, it encompasses everything: emotional, financial, physical, what have you. I just realized the other day that even weight, holding on to so much weight, has a lot to do with your mental, your mental health, or the things that you went through. So I know we are at a high advantage as Genevieve, because we just don't hold on to weight. And when I'm talking about we minus me, that's how I would like to close this chapter. But otherwise, it's been super exciting, and hopefully people get to take away very important lessons, and maybe discard things that do not sit well. Sometimes in a conversation, a lot of things won't sit well, and take what sits well with you, what doesn't. Maybe it will sit well a different time, because I believe every word has a meaning in whatever way. It could be, you could learn from it by saying, okay, this is not what I want to do, or you learn from it by saying, this is what I want to do. So thank you for inviting us, Auntie.
Thank you, wonderful ladies. And Lisa did what a closing, even myself, I need that God in my life to give me clarity to spot on the scam, either in my relationship, my romantic and family relationship, and everywhere that I go. I need to have that clarity in my life. And you also need to have that clarity in your life to really develop that relationship with yourself, with God, and be able to extend that love to people, so that you will not fall into being abused, being used, and also not achieving your goals that God has given you. Thank you everyone for watching our show. Please like, comment, share it with people that may be interested and that might be helped by this message. Thank you, and thank you, wonderful ladies. Have a wonderful day.
Stop recording.
Yeah.
I need to remove my wig.
Okay.